And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For those that are new to us here on the Amazon side, welcome to you guys. If you guys are new here, we definitely invite you guys to hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. That way you can stay connected with all of our broadcasts that we have here on Amazon Live. Also, you'll notice there you will see the book of today's guest. We're excited to welcome back Andrew Minott to our program today. He's the author of the book we have highlighted there on the carousel called Prove 'em Wrong. You guys can see I have my cover with my tabs all set to go. We're starting a new series here with Andrew here on Amazon Live that we're glad you could be a part of. We're kind of breaking down different segments of the book. In the book Prove 'em Wrong, Andrew not only shares his own life journey, but also some great lessons that all of us can be able to learn from no matter where we are. So definitely look forward to talking with him about that. For those who are joining us on the other platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, welcome to you all as well. The chat is open, so if you guys do have any questions, feel free to let me know. Michael Lewis Neal joining us from Florida. Hello to you, Michael. Good to be able to see you. Appreciate you being with us. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But Andrew, welcome back to the broadcast, man.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, Andrew, I said I don't script this show, but I said what thing I do I wanted to ask you about because anyone who reads your book or read your story, Prove 'em Wrong, they'll know that music is a very big part of your life. You're used to talking about music. You're not
Yes,
used to talking about you. So I want to ask you, what has that been like for you to be the one that you're out here promoting instead of promoting music?
man, it's so hard. It's like it's virgin territory for me because I've never done it before.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of people like probably look at me and said, "Man, he's nervous." Yeah, I probably am because I'm just not used to talking about. I go and promote concerts and do this and promote other people and all that. That's
Mhm.
easy for me, easy. But doing it by myself is like, But it's going. So I'll get better at it,
Yeah.
because I guess I have to promote this book.
Well, look, you've been doing great with us, and we've had this is our second conversation here on Amazon Live. And again, you guys can get your copy of the book, the print of the Kindle edition here on Amazon. That's where I got mine, and it really is a fascinating book. And Andrew, the first time you and I talked, I had already read the book when you and I had our first conversation together by phone, and you had asked me, what did you pick up from the book, and so I wanted to be able to take the different topics that I picked up on and break them into this series here on Amazon Live and also share it with our other audiences too, because I think there's so much in this book. So I have to ask you a follow up question to what it's like for you to talk about yourself. Did you realize there were so many lessons in your life, Andrew, that people could learn from?
No, absolutely not. I didn't, because I honestly was using this as therapy for myself
Mhm.
and going through all the trauma that I experienced in my life. I never thought it would have that impact on people, to be honest. And I spoke to you about it, that when that young lady that gave me that review on the website about she buying the book on accident and how much it helped her and her connection with her own father, because she's from the Korean background. I was so, I was so grateful and I was so thankful that I could help that person, because I never intended it would be like that, but I'm forever grateful for that, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about the why then, Andrew, because I think everything for all of us goes back to our why we do what we do. Why did you decide to write Prove 'em Wrong?
Wow. My childhood, the initial reason was like with my cousin, but then as I was writing the book, there was I couldn't express myself more about myself. So I had to talk about like growing up, the trauma, my childhood, and everything else, and me being a father and how that it impacted my life, and how it never impacted my own father's life because he was never in my life.
Mhm.
So I always tried in throughout the whole book. I talk about, even though I touch on different topics, I talk about the relationship with my sons, the
Yeah.
relationship with my daughter, because
Mhm.
I want that to be one of the main reasons that why people are influenced to get this book,
Mhm.
that they can build better relationships with their family, with their kids, and everything else that comes with it.
Yeah.
So that's what that is.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because today's topic, our main topic for today, everyone who's joining us on the different platforms, today's topic is fatherhood. And we're going to talk about it in a dual way with Andrew based on his book, Prove 'Em Wrong. And that is his relationship, as you just heard him talk about, with his father, as well as, of course, what it was like for him becoming a father and how he was changed by that. So I'm not a father myself, Andrew, at this point. So
Mhm.
I cannot say, what I want to be able to impart. But I do want to ask you: was part of your hope as when you became a father that you learned from the mistakes of your father and didn't repeat those?
Absolutely, because the first thing the hurdle I got over was be there, because my father wasn't there.
Mhm.
So once I was there, once I was present, half the battle was won for me because my father wasn't there. So it was evident that as long as I was there, I showed up for my sons. That was the most important thing. And then as long as you show up, you can figure things out as you go along, because you're gonna always have ups and downs and problems that comes with it. But as long as you're there, then you can figure things out as you go along. Because that's a lot of times, especially boys, they just need to see their father. They may not want to talk to him about anything, just he's there. He's available to them. That if they need him, he's ready and available. And that's pretty much what it comes down to.
It's interesting, though, Andrew, to hear you say that, and we find a lot of glimpses as to your own struggles to be there in a chapter that has an interesting title, Chapter 10, My Relationship with Rage. And you kind of break down your relationship with rage, which I think is so important, especially for us as men to be able to acknowledge, but also kind of get into the root of it. And as you said, even in that chapter, you couldn't even put it all on your father. Talk about how it helped you, Andrew, to kind of go back and analyze, because it's very easy for us to say it's because of this person that I did this. But what was it like for you to kind of really think about why you felt the way you felt and what you held in and where that came from?
To have accountability, because like I said, I could have blamed him because he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So um, maybe maybe deep down I was lacking the fact that he wasn't there, and I was angry about that, because like a lot of kids, they said, well, they're just mad because their father wasn't there. I was watching this TV show last night, and the guy in the show, he basically said he saw his father, and his father didn't tell him that he was coming back, but he did 20 years in prison, and he said he last saw his father when he was 12.
Hmm.
And someone says, so how do you feel like you see your father? He's like, no, I'm good. But later on, he admitted that, you know what? He's like, he confronted his father. And he was like, why you couldn't even put me on the visitors list? Why you couldn't even tell me what happened? Why? And the father's like, what difference does it make? What he said, no, it's you should tell me. I need to know. And sometimes that's what it comes down to. It's
Yeah.
not the father don't necessarily, it don't matter to him because he's at the point where it is what it is, but the people that's affected by it is what needs to know these things, because they said, like, it's like someone made a statement and said, death is the same as someone being stupid, because
Mm.
it only affects the people that have to deal with it. So when someone passes on, the person that's left behind is dealing with it, and when someone is stupid, is the person that's listening to that person who's affected by it. So the same with the absence of that father in your life is the son or the daughter that's left behind has to deal with that absence. So you, as a person that was gone, don't realize the impact you have on your children. And I get to understand that, but my rage was it was a multiple of probably different things, in the sense of, I maybe really wanted to see my father and he wasn't there,
Mhm.
and I was getting raised by my grandparents, and sometimes you're mad that why couldn't you enjoy these moments with your own father, and it's just one of those things.
Right. And I think just you being able to say that, Andrew, is going to be so beneficial for other people, because they're going to let them know, one, what they're feeling is natural. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
natural thing, is like you said, but two, the importance of expressing it. we unfortunately we live in a world, Andrew, and it's gotten better. But I even saw this with my own father. He grew up um, believing that men weren't supposed to show their emotions, and whatever happens, you just take it, and not realizing the impact that can have on us by keeping that stuff in, by not talking about things, whatever. How was your idea of communication? How has that changed for you? You mentioned, I love that example you gave about the young man who asked his father, "Why didn't you put me on the visitors list?" How important has it been for you to make sure you have that open communication?
It's very important because that's one of the things that I always tell my sons. I said, if something comes up, just talk to me. Just tell me.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, just tell me. Let's figure it out. But if you don't tell me, I don't know. I can't read minds. So I always, that's why I said earlier, just being there, showing up. Because at least if you show up and you're there and you're present, you can talk about it. You can figure it out. But if you're not there, you don't have anyone to talk to about it. Like if a son wants his father, he's like, man, where my dad at? Where is he at? And he's not there, he has nothing to talk to him about. But at least if he's there, he has an option. So you
Right.
always have to give yourself options. I've always told my sons that. Always give yourself options. Options is the most important thing.
Mm.
Have options that you can figure things out. But your father not being there, you have no options of seeing him. At least if he's there, you have the option of speaking to him, not speaking to him, cursing him out, loving him, showing emotion. But at least you can do these things if he's there. If he's not, you have no options.
Mm. I want to talk about something else, and that is how to even deal with the absence, Andrew. But before we get into that, I see more people coming in on the YouTube side and Twitter. Thank you all for being with us. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live, but we are streaming also on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, as well as on Twitter. We're speaking today with Andrew Minott. He's the author of this book you guys see here, Prove I'm Wrong. I have it highlighted in the carousel for you guys tuning in on the Amazon Live side. We do have the comment section open. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to be able to drop those in. Would love to be able to share those as well. And also, we're going to let you guys know how to stay connected with Andrew as well. So I want to talk about dealing with what is, Andrew, because you were in a situation we find in the very beginning of the book where you wanted help from your father, of course, when it came to pursuing education. That was one of the things that came up, and that was one of the things, of course, that he did not feel was his responsibility or he wanted to do, whatever the reason may have been. For yourself, as you're kind of thinking about this book and thinking about the lessons you've learned, you were able to, even as I mentioned that chapter about rage, you were in a situation where, it was almost like you were fighting to see your own children. Talk about that and what that was like for you to be in a situation where you wanted to be there, but weren't in the position where you could be there.
Yeah, that was tough because there are different sequences where I couldn't see my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Once when I got in trouble and I wasn't there, and that killed me. To this day, that haunts me because my oldest son, um, I thought the fact that I left when he was like 12, when I went away, and he had a chance and an opportunity to like play really high level basketball. And for the year I wasn't around, I think that really messed him up. Because even the coach for his school team said he just changed. He wasn't the same person. And he said, I don't know if he missed you, but he didn't talk. He didn't say anything. He was closed minded because I would always have an open dialogue with them at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't there. And that haunted me in the sense of how far he could have gone to play basketball. I don't know. And that I have to live with that because it's something that, I don't know. My
Right.
other son that's in the book, Henry, his mother basically took him away, and that's an ongoing process right now. I know a lot of men can relate to that.
Right.
You have a relationship that didn't end so well, and the mother feel like she can use it against you because they know that you love your children so much, and okay, we can spite him for that. I'll take your son from you because that's one of the last things she said. You'll never see your son again. And a lot of men can relate to that,
Right.
and then you try, then numbers have changed, all communication are broken down, and you're fighting and you think you're fighting a losing battle. Then years later, boop, she pops up, and you're like, no, you have to deal with the backlash and the all the things that come with that, in the sense of you weren't there. And then he comes on the phone and like, where you been? Where have you been? You wasn't there for me. So no, I'm the enemy. I'm public enemy number one, because what am I gonna say no? I have to basically throw his mother under the bus and say, well, she's the one that took you. But it's a slippery slope, in the sense of, for you to come out smelling like roses, someone gotta be smelling really bad. So
Yeah.
it's very tricky.
Yeah. And you, we've been talking about your sons, Andrew, but another bright spot for you that you actually devoted a chapter to is becoming a father to a daughter. Talk to us about
Yeah,
that. What was that like for you?
that was, whew, it was a different feeling. They said daughters are so close to their father, which is true. Um, she has totally softened me up, because I used to be really hardcore and rough, and you know, even my younger son would say, "Yo, you wasn't like that when you were raising us." Because I pet my dog. He's like, "You were always hardcore. You're honest," and I say, "Yeah, you're boys, you know." And I still feel like maybe I could have, like, but I was hard, because I always said, especially living in this society,
Hmm.
black men and black boys are not treated the same as everyone else.
Hmm.
So you have to be prepared for what society brings to you. So I didn't try to sugarcoat anything with my sons. I always had to be like very firm with them. But my daughter is so different. And like I detail in the book too, that my son Henry, his mom basically popped up after 10 years, the day before my daughter was going to be born. And that was some totally some other drama type of thing. And ah, boy, it was crazy,
Yeah.
you know.
So you mentioned, of course, you said a couple of times here, Andrew, that that there are men who can relate. Talk to us about what that's been like for you since the book came out, because again, what I found so interesting about "Prove I'm Wrong" is there's so many different ways this title can be applied um, throughout your book, and I'm just speaking now as the reader. This is not what Andrew is saying. This is what I'm as the reader saying, and I'm saying prove them wrong as to the color of your skin defining who you are, because there's some people who would try to define you by the color of your skin. You can prove them wrong based on what they think about who's there and who's not when it comes to your parents, because Andrew was able to do that, to show that just because he didn't have his father in his life didn't mean he could actually become someone. Prove them wrong when it comes to careers, and the careers that you choose. When people say what you can't do, Andrew shows that you can do things if you're willing to do the work and do it, as he was told, even that he shares in the book. You have a love for it. And then prove them wrong when it comes to things like your relationship with your children and your family. I think that's the other thing too. For yourself, Andrew, what did the title mean for you? I mentioned what it meant to me as a reader, but when you were thinking about the title "Prove them Wrong," what did it mean for you?
Throughout my whole life, it seemed like I had to be proving something to somebody, and I hate that. And it's such a frustrating thing, thinking back about everything. Like I pick the book up and I read it, and I think back and I'm like, why did my grandmother do that? Why did my mom do that? Why my And I'm like, why I have to prove to everyone? Like I get accused of something, and I said I didn't do that. Why I gotta prove to somebody? Just like even today, someone asked me not to. They shared something in confidence with me. I said, yeah, I got it. I said I won't do it. Then it's, please don't do it. I said I gave you my word, yes. And they asked me something like 3 times. I'm like, I gave you my word. Why I gotta like tell you over and over? I gotta like, to this day, I'm still have to prove myself to everyone. It's like
Mm.
they can't understand if I say yes. And that's why when I say in the book, my word means everything to me. And that's why in other parts of the book, when I was getting in trouble and I said, I'm going to stick it out and deal with it on my own, I was going to throw anybody else on the bus,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure that I'm going to hold this. So I don't want nobody to question me and said, why you did that. So I'm gonna basically maintain that. So every time I have to be proving somebody wrong, and I'm like, why? Why do I have to do that? And it's just an ongoing thing. And everyone I know can relate to that.
Right.
Everyone has that thing because you always have to be proving something. You know, Michael Jordan had to prove himself that he was gonna make it.
Hmm.
In that first episode, a lot of people won't know this, but there's a "Come Fly with Me," the first video with Michael Jordan, "Come Fly with Me." Then they were talking about his career, and his math teacher was telling him, "Go into math. That's where the money is." One his principal was like, "You should join the Air Force." And someone told him, "Oh, you're gonna go to North Carolina and sit on the bench for 4 years and come back and work at the local gas station." These are things that they told Michael Jordan. If I
Mm.
didn't mention his name, you'd be like, who? You wouldn't have a clue who that those advice was offered to. You would never
Right.
know.
Right.
And Michael Jordan could have said, "Okay, I'm gonna do that." He said, "No. Look at him now. You know, because you can't let people define you. You have to strive through that. You have to push through all adversities and make sure you just do what you set out to do and not give up. No matter what even trusted people that you think have your back will say, if you feel deep down within yourself that you can do something, do it. You
Yeah.
know, like the hater mentality or the hate not. Just don't worry about that. If you
Right.
feel, if your mind can believe it, your body can achieve it, and that's how I look at it.
Love that. Hello to Tamika. Thanks for joining us. I want to read this comment. Andrew just came in on Amazon. Appreciate you, Joe. Appreciate you watching. Joe says, just purchase your book, Andrew, on Kindle. And then had this to say, appreciate you hosting and having such a real and empowering conversation. Appreciate that, Joe. He says, great message. So, and then that's the thing. I think
Thank
this
you.
message it is something that can resonate with people where they are, Andrew. And that is what I'm so glad that you were able to write this book because you and I talked about in another interview that music has that same way of doing it, and that is that music can connect us in ways we may not personally know the artist, but something the artist says resonates with us. The same
Yeah,
is true for you with this book. The reader may not personally know you, but they can read something in this book that connects with them personally. And I think that's the thing. So for our audience like Joe out there, who's just now finding out about the book, what do you want the book to do for them, Andrew?
take whatever parts of that book that can help you. So there's different parts of it, like growing up in Jamaica, coming to New Jersey, expecting to live in New York, and my father turned his back on me, joining the military, leaving the military, going to college, getting in trouble. There's so many things I've been through. I guarantee there's at least one or two things that everyone can relate to because I actually cover everything, and that's my life. From someone's gotten in trouble and someone told them, yo, they'll never accomplish anything. Someone joined the military and they came out. Someone was wanted to get involved in like something that they love to do, like music or what entertainment, and people telling them they can't do that. There's so many things that I did throughout my life that someone out there can relate to something in it. And I just hope that they can pick out whatever it is that makes them understand who they are and how they can relate to others, especially like their fathers and all that. And make it better. Make it better.
Love that. Again, everyone, Prove Them Wrong is the book. Andrew Minott is our guest, the first in our series here on Amazon Live. So get used to Andrew. You're going to be seeing him for several more weeks here as we talk about different aspects of the book. You can grab it as Joe did here on Amazon, either the Kindle edition or the print edition, like I have. You'll see it down in the carousel there. Also, of course, we do invite you guys to stay connected with Andrew as well. Andrew, where's the best place for them to be able to find you?
They can find me on all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all handles of Drew Minott at Drew Minott. I'm
Okay.
right there. DREWMINOTT. And even my website, anchorminott.com.
And we've already tagged him over there on Twitter and Facebook as well, so you guys can easily find him there. Shout out to Angela Ellerby of Double Exposure Media Relations for setting up this chat with us today. Let's see. Joe says, I take your word for it and won't ask you to back up that claim, Andrew. I feel you in the truth in your journey and wisdom. I think that is the thing. And it is, Joe, you will definitely enjoy it. There's something in here for everyone that will definitely connect you where you are. And glad you all could be with us. Andrew, another great conversation. Looking forward to having you back again soon, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And for all the listeners, hey, there's always something in there for you. And I'm always open to answering any questions anyone may have because the book details my life. So the cat's out the bag.
That's right. That's right. And we're glad you can share it with us, man. And we definitely thank you all for being with us for another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Again, if you guys are new to us on the Amazon side, make sure you guys hit that follow button either here or down below to stay connected with all of our broadcasting here that we have throughout the week. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.